sure we're in cuddle season, and it's gonna sting a little bit if you can't cuddle at night. But so what? Reassess. Put your mind on something else. I know it's hard. I know it is. Think about that relationship you got in and you got burned, literally or figuratively. These are circumstances, and then you don't get an opportunity for a second chance. Like, there's this notion that we have to be grateful for everything. Like, you're not allowed to be dissatisfied or disgruntled. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Life is funny, but if you catch the signs early, you win. Welcome back to the channel. This is Can I Be Earnest? For those of you who are new to the channel, when I'm not making videos of interest, I'm usually doing social commentary. Why? Because everyone else does. In the park once again, trying to take advantage of this beautiful autumn day. Autumn is very, very underrated. Oh, just almost stepped on a dead bird. Autumn is very underrated. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get an Indian summer where the warm weather lasts until like the end of October, early November, I mean, beautiful. You see the title of the video. Life is funnier than Kevin Hart. You ever look at your life and say to yourself, man, that's not fair? It happens more times than we like to admit, where you just feel like life handed you a raw deal. Think about life. Think about when you've only had one opportunity to do something, maybe one opportunity at love or marriage, and it didn't work out. And 30 years later or 40 years later, you still find yourself single or just not able to reconnect with someone else. In a world of 7 billion people, or whatever the number is, still struggling to find love. That's a tough pill to swallow for some people who don't know the importance of alone time. How you doing, man? Who don't know the importance of being alone and learning about yourself. Some people can't be alone. Think about that person who got into a relationship and had kids with someone and got burned. You know, just, it scarred them. It happens. It isn't discussed often, but it happens, where you get scarred and you don't want kids anymore, you know, or you hold a grudge towards your child because of that parent. There are so many scenarios in life that are head scratchers, and you're just like, why? What happened? Like, why me? Why did I go through this? What did I do wrong? Jobs. You could cover the job. You could do all the necessary requirements that they told us coming up. Finish school, get your degree, gain some experience, and you just can't get that job. Meanwhile, some young person with connections and maybe no degree landed that high 5-figure earning job or low 6-figure earning job, and you're still kicking and crawling and scratching to get $50,000 a year. You know, that happens. And you have to ask yourself, why? Like, what did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? And at the same token, people with strong prayer life would just tell you to pray. Hey, just pray about it. Ask the higher power, ask your Lord and Savior, whomever, to help you out. And sometimes prayer doesn't answer the question as quickly as we want it to. Doesn't mean prayer doesn't work. If you have a strong prayer life, awesome. But some people prefer to dig deeper when it comes to logical thinking. You know, why did this happen? And I'm a big fan. I'm a proponent of paying attention to the signs. You know, watching life patterns. If you only got one chance at marriage and it was many moons ago and you want a second chance and it's just not happening for you, it's probably not in the cards. It doesn't mean it won't happen, but if you're like in your 60s, the ship has sailed. It has. It's a tough pill to swallow, I get it, because everyone feels entitled. But just read the writing on the wall. Sometimes the patterns, the signs are right in front of us, and because of selfishness, we just neglect to pay attention. Oh, I'm gonna find Mr. Right. I'm gonna find Mrs. Right. It's gonna happen to me. It may not happen. If that job's not calling, no matter how many applications you've put in, it's not for you. It's not. One of the funniest things I'm learning about life, the older I get, is that the less emphasis you place on marriage, love, career, money, that's when things tend to change. The less you stress over it, that's when suddenly things start to happen. You stop thinking about money and all that stuff, and then next thing you know, you get a windfall. You get a check in the mail from whomever, or you find money, or you land some job that's paying you extraordinary money, or whatever. The less you look for that woman, that guy, all of a sudden they're paying attention. When you put them out your head, listen, I'm not gonna get into relationships anymore. I'm not gonna mess with this dude, this chick. I'm not doing anything anymore. All of a sudden, here they come. Here they come. Life is funny because it gives you signals. You just got to be aware. You got to open that third eye. You got to just pay attention. And as cliche as this is, when you pay attention, it really comes at no cost. And these are things you don't learn growing up, unless there's someone older in your life who can teach you, who can put you under their wing and guide you. Other than that, life is going to be your greatest teacher. It's going to show you things. Throughout my life, I've applied to so many positions that I knew I was fit for. And the rejections are laughable. Laughable. So much so where I have like a folder in my email of the hundreds of rejections I've received dating back maybe 10 years. Could be longer than that. Because I like to look at it and laugh. Seriously, it's a reminder of how life is funny. When an employer can tell you you're not qualified when you've listed everything that makes you qualified on your resume. That's what life does to you. But if you're somebody out here who, you know, is dying to get into a relationship, dying to have kids, and it's just not happening for you, don't force it. That's the worst thing you can do. Because you can find yourself in a situation you can't get out of. Now you're stuck for 18 years. You ever hear these jokers out here who want to impregnate women because they're fine? Yeah, I'm gonna knock her up because she's bad. Just scarred the woman for life now. Because your intentions were poor. You just wanted to knock her up. That was a selfish act. So now you gave her a kid. Now you guys are disgruntled, angry, and the kid has to endure that for 18 years or better. Not a good strategy, man. Not a good strategy. And the same rule applies to women. Chasing after the wrong dude. The dude pillow talked you, knocked you up, didn't have you as a priority. Now you guys are beefing with multiple kids and you out here with baggage. And now you don't get that second chance at love because men these days aren't looking for partners with multiple children. It's a hard sell. Unless you want a big family, unless you're into the big family thing. So you allowed that one opportunity with that individual to now damage you kind of for life. If you're somebody that's looking for love, you know, one door closes, the other one opens, but sometimes that door doesn't open. That's when you have to watch the pattern and reassess. All right, this door is not opening. Let me create my own door. You'd be surprised how many people out here, young and old, who don't pay attention to the signs. They just refuse to. It's almost like they're inadvertently sabotaging their own lives. Just pay attention. You can't keep sitting back complaining about what's unfair. Oh, it's unfair that I got my degree and I can't get this job. Oh well, it's not for you, bro. It's not for you. You can't keep complaining about the relationship aspect. Maybe it's not for you. Does that mean you have to be single and disgruntled for the rest of your life? No. Maybe you're just here for friendship. There's no rule that states everyone has to get married and find love that way. Maybe your love is through companionship. Maybe your love is through giving to others. But the sooner you recognize what your purpose is, the easier this becomes. Because again, we all feel entitled. We all feel like we should have everything that's out there. We look at couples out here sometime and we're like, oh man, how did he get her? How did she get him? I deserve that. Do you? Do we? The answer is no. Says who? You know, there's people out here. I remember being in school. There were dudes who can get girls like this. They didn't even try. They just maybe dressed well and everybody was drawn to them. Same for women. There were girls that, you know, dudes were just drawn to. And you're like, damn. And it took a while to understand, like what's happening. I play sports. I'm tall. You know, I'm checking off boxes. And it wasn't happening at the rate. And then guess what? When you get desperate, you start forcing things. I'm definitely guilty of forcing things. It's the worst thing you could do for your life. If you really care about your life, you don't force stuff. You take it one day at a time. You make corrections on you. You fix yourself, because we all need fixing. Don't believe you're good because mommy told you you're a good kid, or because when you look in the mirror, you're fine as hell. That means nothing. You could have an ugly attitude. You know what I mean? So self-correcting is good. But if you're one of these people who's just in a lifelong rut, the black cloud is just over you and you can't escape it, it's time to pivot. Pivot. Shift gears. You know what? These jobs ain't it. Let me find something that I'm really passionate about and figure a way with the salary if the pay is not there. I'm dissatisfied with the women. Let me just chill, fall back. Somebody's gonna come. Somebody's gonna enter. Forcing is the worst thing you can do. So in closing, this is really about paying attention to the signs that life shows. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Don't get caught up in the web of forcing things. And if you've noticed that years have passed where you haven't gained traction in whatever area you feel like you deserve, it's not for you. Doesn't mean it's not for you permanently. It's just not for you at this moment. Life is funny, but if you catch the signs early, you win. You win. You're gonna go through some adversity. Of course you will. Because that's a part of life. That's what makes life unbearable at times. But the key is being focused when it comes to life-changing situations. Don't keep crying about your past and how it used to be and what you felt it should have been. Doesn't matter. Life doesn't care about that. Or else opportunities will just come like that for you. If the opportunities come like that for you, take a bow. Take a bow. You've achieved something that many of us struggle with. But it usually doesn't. So if you feel like life has scarred you, it's time to turn the page.